You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Hello, and thank you to the Living Full Out Show and all of you for joining us today because we have a really important topic. We're talking about being positive. I don't know about you guys, but I really have to monitor how much news I watch and how much I read because there's so much coming at us, right? Whether it's political or just the state of the world. But today we want to quiet that noise. We want to get positive and figure out how to get over these challenges that we face. And I also want to make sure that you stay with us because in our next segment, we're going to be joined by Christina Fletch, who has gone through a lot of losses in her life. Her child, her mother, her husband, but yet she is seriously a glass 3/4 full person. She is amazing, this abundant energy, but it hasn't always been easy. So how did she make those choices? How did she get there? We're going to learn from her. Also, you can call in anytime, 800-333-0001. We're standing by to, give you that motivation that you need to keep going, right? That's the thing. Some days we wake up and everything is good. It's pretty good, right? You slept well and nothing's gone wrong. But then, I don't know about you guys, but I just know something's going to happen. It could be that one of my low vision aids will stop working or, some deadline will not get met or it could be anything. But when I go into my day knowing, something is going to happen today, but it's not the end of the world. And I think it's really important that we look at these moments in time, these hurdles, these obstacles, these challenges, whatever you want to call them. And we have to make sure that we don't give our power away to them. If we make it big and it's a really tall mountain, super tall, can't even climb it, then it will be. But if you look at that hurdle and that challenge and you say, I have been here before and I've survived worse, or this is pretty big, but I know that I have my tribe, I have my family, I have my supporters. I will too get through this. That's where the positive switch happens. But it's you. You are the driver of your life. You are the one who has to make that change in your state of mind occur. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi, Nancy. I have a question.
Yes, how can I help you?
Well, I had a goal that I wanted to be promoted in my job by the end of the year. I kind of set this goal out in January, but then COVID happened, and we're working remote and working from home, and that's kind of derailed that. My question is, how can I stay motivated to reach my goals? Because my boss is kind of a face-to-face person, and we're only really communicating through like video calls and Zoom at this point and not really face-to-face.
Well, and I'm just so curious. So what do you do for a living? What is your occupation?
I'm an IT manager.
Perfect. Now, I do hope that this pandemic comes and goes sooner than later, right?
Yes.
Yesterday's news, and it's still with us.
Yeah.
And we don't know what that looks like. But if it's not this, it could be something else catastrophic, right? If it's not this, it could be layoffs for another reason. So what you want to do is weatherproof, pandemic-proof your job and who you are. Now, I will tell you what, you have an amazing energy. And that is something that you want to really let shine, okay? Because IT can kind of be a behind-the-scenes occupation, right? You guys are like the ones that make all the magic happen. But I would let that personality shine. And let me ask you a question. When you say that you want to be promoted, what do you want to be differently than what you are now?
So I've been in this position. I've been in management for years and, of course, doing the behind the scenes, the IT work. But the next position for me is really director, which, as you know, you kind of do that job before you really get promoted into it.
You're probably already the director. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Now, I'm curious, is the reason why you haven't been promoted due to the fact that everything is to face, or have projects been kind of put on hold and therefore that responsibility isn't quite needed?
hmm So I'm glad you asked that because it really goes back. It really is kind of a behind the scenes. And with my manager, or I guess it would be my director, she is more of a face to face person. Like, if she's not seeing it being done, it's like it's not happening. She just knows it's status quo. And she even made a comment in our staff meeting um, last week. She said, everybody's just really keeping the lights on right now. But we're doing a lot of work, both me and my team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm above and beyond, and because you're at home, you're putting in more hours than you probably would if you were physically in the office. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
that behind the scenes, because I'm not physically seeing it, it's not happening.
So here's what I suggest. Okay. So you will always inspire change if you can prove or show a result. So when you become director, even though you and I both know you're already doing it, right? But when you officially become director, right? When they make that commitment of advance in pay, advance in hours, advance in responsibilities, they're going to see a certain result. They have a vision for when you step into that role, what that looks like. What you want to do is find a way to move that vision along faster. So they can't see it. They don't see it happening.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see it possible, maybe a year from now. But you want to find a way to show them, hey, if I do this role now, like really take it on, and you take someone else to do what I do, look at all this possibility, all this opportunity that's going to happen. In some ways, I hate to say it, they've lost the faith. They've lost their compass. So if you can find a way to repaint that picture, take out the canvas, paint the new picture, you're going to enroll them into moving it along faster. And when I said early on today that you have this vibrant, great energy, you have such a beautiful energy that I want you to be able to show them, hey, I can inspire a team. I can make these projects happen. I can increase our ROI. I can, but you're going to have to show them that. And maybe on your own time, putting a little business plan together, right? A little vision.
Yeah.
Maybe even saying, hey, I know and calling her out, right? Hey, I know you're a visual person. So I actually wanted to take today and just thought I would set up a little tripod and kind of videotape what I do. And I have these ideas and I want to show you. I think it's kind of like pulling back the curtain a bit. Can you do that?
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the thing is sometimes managers, supervisors, CEOs, owners, they do lose faith. They have too much on their plate that they've lost the ability to have your vision advance. So you have to raise your hand and say, you know what? I'm going to put the plan together for you. I'm going to put the plan together. I'm going to put some timelines together. I'm going to repaint this vision of when I am true director, what that looks like and the outcomes. And you're basically giving them no option but yes.
Love it.
Right? Right.
And
even start preparing your transition, training documents, maybe write the ad for them, whatever. If you make it easy for them to advance you, they will. Okay? But I definitely want to hear how it goes and stay positive. That's what we're talking about today, right?
Right? Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I believe in you very much, and it's just about taking action. And it's the weekend, right? So no better time than now to start pondering those ideas.
Oh, you're right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling in.
Absolutely.
Love that she asked that question, right? Because sometimes we do get stuck. We feel like we're limited by other people's ideals. And it's interesting. There was this study done a long time ago. Most people do know about this, but it was where they put fleas in a jar and they put the lid on the jar and the fleas were in there and they would only jump so high. And then after some time, they took the lid off. But the fleas only still kept jumping as high as where the lid was. They didn't jump out of the jar. So what you want to do is make sure that people don't put a lid on you. That glass ceiling, it doesn't exist. But sometimes we have to create our own reality. We have to take our positivity, put action to it, and that is what it means to live full out. So stay with us. We're going to be coming back with Christina Flatch, talking about the losses that she has had. But you know what? You would not even know it because she gobbles up every minute of life. She is a great example of what it means to live full out. So make sure you stay with us. I am Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. And today it is all about being positive and letting your personality shine. Let that experience be the lead, and you will move further than you've ever thought possible. Stay with us. I'll be right back after this break. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. We'll be back.
Hi, professional skateboarder Tony Hawk here with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck to remind you to get moving every day.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
you'll have the energy to skate through anything.
Nice play on words, Doc.
That's how I roll, Bugs. So whether you like to work the half pipe,
now that's catching air,
kick the soccer ball around, or dance in your room,
just move it your way.
For an hour a day.
The way you like to move, as long as you're moving.
Carve out some time every day and get active. Because it's time to do a 180 on what you think exercise is.
Because it can be whatever you want it to be. So be a player.
Be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day, Doc. Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
At www.letsmove.gov. Let's hear that one more time, Doc. That's www.letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS.
I'm Nancy Solari, Certified Life and Business Coach. I want to invite you to the Personal Development Boot Camp. During the boot camp, we're going to be looking at taking those insecurities that you have and getting rid of them. We're also going to look at ways in which you can thrive and live a life full of purpose. Go to livingfullout.com/bootcamp, livingfullout.com/bootcamp to sign up. I believe in you, and here's to you living your life full out.
I'm Sarah, and this is my story.
I'm Ellen, and this is my story.
One night, I was at a bar. I was having fun with my friends.
I
had one too many drinks.
I
got behind the wheel to go home.
I got a cab to go home.
All of a sudden, from out of nowhere, a squirrel ran across the road. It happened so quickly, I barely had time to react.
The cabbie barely had time to react.
I swerved.
The cab swerved.
I can't believe it. I hit a guy.
I cannot believe it. The cabbie just missed a guy.
I wish I took a cab.
Thank goodness I took a cab.
You have the choice to save a life. Don't drive buzzed. It's a decision you'll never regret. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America in your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
If you think depression is all in a person's head, you're right. It's a brain illness. And like other illnesses, it has symptoms. Depression can make those who suffer from it feel hopeless. It can even lead to suicide. Learn how to stop depression from taking another life. Call SAVE, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, 1-888-511-SAVE, on the web at save.org.
I'm Alec Baldwin. Like any parent, I'm concerned about children's health. Many kids don't eat as they should and are at risk for long-term health problems like diabetes and heart disease. But here's good news. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and other low-fat vegetarian foods can protect our kids and keep the rest of the family healthy too. For a free booklet, call the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine at 1-877-685-KIDS or visit www.kidsgethealthy.org.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. With Nancy's expertise, you'll learn how to embrace your potential and strive for success. If you have a question or need further support, send us an email at connect@livingfullout.com. Now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about being positive. Love that word, right? And on a good day, we're all positive, right? But to be honest, there's a lot of times when we're sad, when we feel hopeless, when we feel angry. Things have been taken from us. People left lives earlier than they should have, or we didn't get a job we wanted to. And it's so easy to raise your hands up in the air and be like, I give up. But the reason why we choose inspirational guests is because we want to give you hope, but also show you that other people just like you have gone through it and have gone through the trenches, gone through the weeds, got to the other side, and are living an abundant, positive life. And our guest today, Christina Fletch, has really gone through grieving in a big way. And we're going to kind of go through each of these moments in her life. But also I want to find out from her, how is she able to stand so tall today and be so positive and literally being a huge walking heart? So I'd like to welcome Christina to the show.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And I wish we were talking about all positive things today, even though the topic is being positive. But, you are inspiration. You inspire me. I remember we had a little teeny call early on, and I walked away from that call going, wow, I thought I was optimistic. I want to know what kind of juice she's drinking, right? Because I don't know what it is, but you are
just a lot of green juice.
there you go. So, Christina, though, we have to take our audience back, and for everybody listening, looking back in your past, well, sometimes it may be painful. We can see times that we've survived. We can see how we managed and handled stress. So I'd like to take us back to really one of your first losses in life, which was the loss of your mom. I know you were 20 years old. She was about 42. And what did she die of?
Correct. So my mom died when I was 20, and she was 42, and she died of brain cancer. She had a 1% chance to live 1 year, and she lived 13. So there's something right there that she fought and beat the odds, and she had 13 more years, with my sister and my dad and I. And I feel also that our minds are so powerful and yet so fragile at the same time. So if whatever you tell your brain to do, it's going to do. So, and for in the example of my mother, she was like, oh, hell no, I'm not leaving my kids. They're too little, or my husband. I love him too much. So, she beat the odds and lived 13 more years. And I kind of feel that way right now with Corona. The media is just showing all this negativity constantly. And if you're going to get sick, you're going to die. And, your brain keeps hearing that and it thinks it needs to get sick and die. So I just really urge people to limit what they're watching and tell yourself, I am not going to get sick and I am not going to die. And well, I believe that. So.
And I think the power of the words that you say are so important. And so I'm curious, when your mom, one of your biggest life events was your first marriage, right? And there you were 24 years old. And then after that, you had a whole bunch of kiddos, 5 of them.
I did. 5 babies.
Yeah. And how did you handle those moments when you were like, I wish my mom was here? Because I think a lot of people go through the, I wish so-and-so was here. I miss them. I want to hold them. I want to touch them. What advice do you have?
I believe that our angels or our loved ones that have passed on, I feel that they are looking down upon us. I feel that they're with us. And if you call them in, and I really believe they're watching over us because they want to protect us, but they also don't really want to leave us either. So I believe that, that's part of my being positive with grieving is that, one day I came to the conclusion after many other losses that I'm sure we'll get into, is that how would I feel if I was looking down upon my children or my husband and I saw that they weren't happy and they weren't living life to their fullest and being their highest self, how awful that would make me feel. So I feel the biggest and best way that we can honor our loved ones is by doing positive things and being of service and helping others and, just trying to be happy and positive. You're not honoring your loved one by being miserable and staying in mourning. I mean, I'm sorry. No one will ever convince me of that. And I think it's a disservice and a dishonor to the loved one. I think I've started foundations, I've started gardens for my loved ones. And for me, that is how I choose to deal with the grieving process in a positive way.
Yeah. And, every loss has their own trigger, their own heartbreak. But you went through a really big one with the loss of Sweet Bo, one of your twins. And I know he died on Christmas Day in 2006, but
yes,
I don't even know because, most parents, they want to outlive their kids, have their kids outlive them, and I don't know how you deal with that loss.
So my son, Bo, passed away on Christmas Day. He was a twin, and his twin is Ben. It was probably the most horrific experience of my life to lose my baby on Christmas Day. He was 4.5 months old, but in front of his siblings and his father. For all of us to go through that as a family was horrific. I can take a lot of pain, but to see my children and my husband so devastated from that was really hard. And again, I went through, I know I speak very positively and full of light and love, but believe me, I have days where I feel dark and I feel depressed and I don't feel like life's fair and why me. But I also know that I've had so many amazing blessings and so much love in my life that I try to focus upon that because, there's miracles in your life every day. Yes, there's the loss of my mother, the loss of my baby, and then, the loss of my husband that I'm sure we're going to get to be talking about in a minute, that are so bad, but they also brought me so much love and so many beautiful memories and blessings into my life. So, there's more blessings. If you could just think about all the abundance and all the love and blessings you have in your life, there's a lot. If you just think about it for a minute, your home, your health, your family, your work, you're able to go outside and hike on a beautiful sunny day. I mean, if you look at all those things as blessings, your life is very full and abundant, but it's definitely happiness is a choice. And being positive is a choice, and as is being negative. But I find it harder to be in a negative, dark place. It doesn't feel natural to me. And I get in those places. I was in one yesterday. I had a tough week this week, but, I really try to pray and meditate and be extra disciplined with what I eat and drink and exercise and, do yoga and really focus on the things that are going well in my life when I'm having a moment like that.
Well, and I want everybody to, listen as we go along. There's more losses that she's had, but when she clears her throat, when she takes a pause, those are very genuine times. And I think we all have that ability to just kind of give pause and let our body feel things. And then sometimes we're exhilarated and we're on a high, and that's being positive. So, Christina, stay with us. Everybody, it's all about being positive today. We're going to come right back after this break. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show, and we'll be back.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey, but people in this town call me Maniac. They call me that because I'm the fastest runner in town. But just because everyone knows who I am doesn't mean I belong. I don't really belong anywhere. You see, I'm an orphan, and I wander the streets just looking for a place that I can truly call home. My name is Maniac McGee, and I'm all alone. Explore new worlds. Read my story in the novel Maniac McGee by Jerry Spinelli. For other great book ideas, visit your local library or log on to literacy.gov. Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
Look for the bare necessities.
The bare necessities of healthy living are easier than you think.
You better believe it.
And the food pyramid shows you the way with just the right amount of exercise and the necessary grains, vegetables, fruits, milk, and meats and beans.
Just the bare necessities of life.
So eat right, be active, and have fun.
Yeah, man.
For your own path to a healthier you, visit mypyramid.gov.
This is really living.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Ad Council.
Hi, my name is Nancy Solari, host of the Living Full Out Show. I am excited to let you know that we are now associated with Alexa. If you have Alexa in your house and you didn't know that, go ahead and find Living Full Out because you can hear us anytime you want, and we're there for you to keep you motivated. Go to your app store because we're located there as well. Just look for the Living Full Out radio show. It's important to us that we put out really inspiring programming, but we want to make sure that you have it at your fingertips when you need us most. We never know when those challenges are going to come, when we're going to feel lonely and need that motivation. So just know that when you need us, we're here for you. Check out Alexa, the app stores, or go to livingfullout.com. Here's to you living full out.
What if I could tell you that a full-blown wildfire was going to occur tomorrow right where you live? Tell you exactly which neighborhoods it would engulf and how fast it would do it. The first thing you would do is talk with your loved ones and make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a wildfire will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you make a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait, communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about being positive. And we have brought you an inspirational guest today that really is a great example of that in so many ways. And so I'd like to welcome back Christina Flatch to the show. And we're going to continue with her interview. Welcome, Christina.
Hi.
Hi. So Christina, we talked in the prior segment about the loss of your mom and the loss of Bo. And you had even been married for 18 years, your first marriage. And although it wasn't a perfect long-term fit, that too eventually ended. But the one thing I love about Christina, she just keeps on going, right? She's got that 3/4 full outlook. And there are a lot of people that after a divorce are like, well, that was it, one and done. I had my soulmate, that's it. But you did find love again in someone really extraordinary, which made the loss of him even that much more heartbreaking. Share with us about Ken.
So I was married to Ken Flack. He was an extraordinary band. He was the number one doubles player in the world with his partner Rob Seguso in the 80s and 90s. He won Wimbledon, a gold medal in Seoul, Wimbledon's U.S. He was on the Davis Cup team, and he was the love of my life. We met on Facebook through friends, and for a year and a half, he had written me. We'd written each other letters on Facebook, funny enough. But finally, I was going to a party in Nashville, and I invited him to go with me. And I said, well, I don't know if you would be comfortable because we'd actually have to speak in person since he never would call me. And so he said, I'm going to call you tomorrow. And he did. And we were on the phone for 5 hours. And at the end of the 5 hours, I was like crazy in love with him and missed him so much because I knew him so well already from all the letters we had written to each other for a year and a half. And so we got married in 6 weeks after we finally first met. And we were married for 8 years. And combined, we had 9 children. And Ken sadly got bronchitis, which turned into pneumonia. And we called the doctors at Kaiser Permanente here in California, and they did not see him. His main doctor, Dr. John Culbertson, prescribed cough medicine with codeine and an inhaler over the phone, which, without seeing Ken, which, turned the bronchitis and turned it into pneumonia, which turned it into sepsis. And that's what he, in 4 days, died of. Mm. So what I have done, Ken passed away March 12th of 2018. And it was so devastating to me and my children and his children, obviously, because he was such a strong presence and so funny and smart and a total handful. And he was my everything. And since then, because of who he was, the Sepsis Alliance group contacted me and asked if I'd be willing to raise awareness and become a sepsis advocate. And I said, yes, I would be happy to do that because I wanted to honor my husband. And I didn't want anyone else to lose their person from this deadly disease, sepsis, which is a blood infection that attacks all the vital organs very quickly. And it can be prevented, if you feel like you have any of the signs of sepsis, which are, if you go to sepsis.org, there's a little graph that shows time. And T is for temperature. You can either be incredibly hot or incredibly cold. I is for infection. You have to have some infection in your body. It could be a tooth. It could be a cut leg. In Ken's case, it was bronchitis and pneumonia. Mm. M is for mental decline. It's hard to kind of get them to do anything because it's affecting their mind. And E is for excruciating pain. They feel like they're dying because they are dying. If anyone has any of those signs, rush to the emergency, get a blood test. And it's a little confusing about sepsis because it
sounds like it snuck up. I mean, it sounds like it came out of nowhere. And I'm just curious, Christina, because obviously that loss abundant, right? But I also find that when we lose people, I mean, your mom, your son, now Ken, again, you had all the reasons in the world to just give up, and you didn't. And one of the questions I am so curious about, because for people who are listening today and they've gone through loss, how did you just not go rogue? Just say, I'm done. There's a lot of people that consider suicide. There's a lot of people that, turn to drugs and alcohol. And I do know that you did that a little bit after your son. You kind of had a small addiction to sleeping pills for half a second there just because you were prescribed them. And you started taking them by night and by day.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Well, it was like a 3-month deal. But the thing is how, how do people not turn to these vices to get them through?
Well, it's so simple. I have 4 other children that are alive. And to me, the example I set is imperative. I love my children more than I love anything. And I want them to be happy more than anything. And if my children see that I'm not functioning at a high level, at a positive level, it affects them. And so their joy brings me joy. And so, it was funny. I didn't even realize until my daughter Rose told me one day, she's like, Mom, your lectures on, drugs and alcohol were really lame. When I'm like, what do you mean? We're award winning. And she's like, no, your example of how you conduct yourself and live your life every day is so much more, it's so much stronger. You know, we see how hard you work. We see all the obstacles you faced. And every day, even though we know you're sad, but you put a smile on and you're positive and you kind of fake it till you make it, kind of,
well,
you know, like, you know.
Well, look at her calling you out in a positive way.
Oh, no, she's my Rose is amazing, you know.
Well,
and right now, go on. I'm sorry to be interrupted.
No. I was just going to say, because, I mean, it's great that, you know, your kids are your reason, and some people have kids, some don't have kids. But I also think what is really fascinating about losses is sometimes we look back and we say, I wish I had. I know for you, sadly, in 2019, you lost even your business partner to a stroke, and he was a pretty healthy guy, right? But you know, one of the things that you regret most is a time when he was going to come stay with you, and you had 3 dogs and he had 2 dogs, and you kind of said, no, 5 dogs is too many, and you would kind of wish that.
I regret it.
Yeah,
so much. I really do. And you know what? It's like, what was the worst thing going to happen? The dogs were going to pee on the floor. Get new carpet. I mean, you know, that would be one thing that now that I really work on all the time with my friends and family is I don't want to have regret. You know, eat the cake, have your business partner move in with 2 extra dogs. You know, you don't know. And since the last time you and I spoke, I've had another little bump in the road. My kid's dad, my ex-husband, who I still consider my family, has been diagnosed with stage 4 brain cancer, glioblastoma. And so, you know, I can't fathom that my kids are going to lose their biological father less than 3 years after they've lost Ken, who they were so attached to. And my kids, I am so proud, all 4 of them. My daughter, one flew in from London, one flew in from LA, and the boys are with their dad. They are all together taking care of their dad. He's on an anti-inflammatory diet. My daughter Rose has him on. He's hiking 10 miles a day. She's taking him to all these doctor appointments. He's watching the boys golf. And I'm telling you that I do not feel that he has so much love and light surrounding him with these kids and positivity and working out and food. I really feel like he is going to beat this. I really do.
And we're all going to send positive wishes his way. And I'm just curious because when you brought that up, and that is a new update since we talked last, but I'm also curious, how do you handle the anger? Because you have a right to be angry. Now, here's the thing. I know you're a woman of faith, right? So I don't know if you've had some intimate powwows with God, but there's a lot of people that hold anger in their heart.
Well, you know what? It's funny. I have a friend like that. And it's, you know what? It's kind of accepting that everything is a blessing in a way, even though it doesn't feel like it. And just knowing that the universe is going to take care of you. And being angry, that just affects so many people. Your bad attitude, your bad energy affects your children. And it affects the world. And, you know, why does anyone want to be unhappy and angry? I mean, you know, the past is the past. You can't be living in it and angry about the past. All you can do is move forward and try and be happy and positive with this minute. Like literally right this second. Not this afternoon, but right now. And if you can live your life just knowing, like, you may not have this afternoon. So do you want your last 5 hours or 1 hour of life to be in this disgusting, dark, yucky place? I don't think so. It's not doing anyone any good.
You know what? And that is why we chose you as the guest for the Being Positive show, because to her last second on this interview, she stays the course. Christina, thank you so much for being on the show today. You've really given us some great insights.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I'm really grateful. If anyone ever wants to contact me, you can go to Pretty Girl Makeup, which is my website, or ChristinaFlack.com. And please go to sepsis.org if you have any questions or want to find out more about sepsis.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you again.
Thank you so
and
much.
We wish you all the best today. Thank you.
Thank you. Love you.
And
bye.
Love you too. Bye. And then for everybody listening today, I mean, wow, what a source of strength. But again, she's been through it, and we know that we all have. And there's camaraderie in the fact that we've all had losses. We've all had wins. Let's celebrate those wins. Acknowledge that the losses are going to come, and just really thrive in living our life full out. If you'd like to be a guest on our show, we'd love to hear from you and get a better understanding of what you've overcome. Feel free to reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. Make sure to give us your contact information, maybe a little bit of a paragraph of what it is that you've overcome, and perhaps you too can be Christine on the show and share with our community how you got through a hardship in your life. So, I am Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show, and we're going to keep going here after this break, all about being positive. So, think about where you need to make that mindset change today. Where do you need to bump it up, punch it up a bit, and take your power back. Don't give it away to the toxic times in your life. We'll be right back after this break. Stay with us.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
So, Jacqueline.
Yes, Mom?
I wanted to talk to you about something, and... Oh, wait. Hold on. I just got a text.
Oh, wait, Mom. I just got a message. So many comments on my comment.
Hey, guys, check out my new video game.
Mom, what?
Huh? Pew, pew.
What'd you say?
This weekend, unplug. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Thanks for asking, but I'd rather not send you nude pictures. I'm camera shy. I already said no. It's against my religion. I'm giving my dog a bath. You can have pictures of that. Pressure gives me hives. Under my clothes, I'm a robot. Hold on, let me ask my mom. Sorry, my webcam is broken. I'm worried they'll get passed around school. Unfortunately, I just had my clothes surgically attached to my body. If they got out, I might never be president. I'm already naked, under my clothes. Not even if you were all three Jonas Brothers. I have a rash. I have nudophobia. I have lizard skin. The more you ask, the less I want to. You're not the boss of me. Nudity makes me vomit. I'm a vampire, so I don't show up in pictures anyways. Your badgering has really killed the mood.
When someone is pressuring you to do something you don't want to, how many ways can you say no before they get the message? Let us know at that'snotcool.com. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
Football
I want to be
stadium.
a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
What? What about our plan to win the lottery and start living? You know, travel the world on matching yachts, wear enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacation on the French Riviera, and then buy it.
You know we're never going to win the lottery, right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
When it comes to being positive, it is important to keep an eye on what are you shooting for in life? What is that win that you want? What is that dream that you have? Because when you have the pitfalls, when you have the moments where you have hardships, knowing that you have something to look forward to, something that you're working towards, something to celebrate, that will get you through so you can live full out.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. Nancy is here as a guide to show you how to rise above obstacles and savor each moment. If you have a question, call in live at 800-333-0001. That's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we've been talking about being positive. And I just want to acknowledge that I realize we're in very unique times right now, and everybody has their own layer of stress and disappointments and worries. And it can be from somebody who's a child, 4 years old, up to somebody who's 100, who's stressed out in their assisted living home, right? No one doesn't have that anxiety of some kind. But I know I said it earlier in the show, and I'll say it again, that if you give your power away to these stresses, if you let them wash over you and drown you in all the woulda, coulda, shouldas and the what ifs, they will. You need to say, you know what, I am going to surf that wave. You know what, I am going to dive through the wave. I'm going to get over it. I'm going to get under it, whatever you got to do, but I'm not going to let it take me out. And you got to know, what is it that you're shooting for in life? And when you can connect those dots and having a support structure of people that you can turn to, who have a great listening ear, somebody who's empathetic, somebody who challenges you, supports you. They're not all the same people. So over time, we kind of build that cheerleading team, that tribe. But either way, I just really want to put that out there that, make today the day that you just don't let those things be that noise in your life. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to Living Full Out Show.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for calling in. How can I help you?
I just have a quick question for you.
Yes.
And so I just wanted to know, how do you protect your mental health in these unshort times?
That is such a good question, because if we allow ourselves to be kind of sucked into the negativity, we will be, whether it be the news or newspapers or whatever. Let me ask you, What is the biggest stress that you're facing right now? Like, what keeps you up at night? What's the first daunting thought that you wake up with?
So right now, I just recently finished school. So right now I'm just dealing with the tuition that's kind of dangling over my head, the anxiety from that, and just the uncertainty of what's next in my life, if I'm in the right... Sorry?
Oh, no, I was going to say, if you're in the right what?
If I'm in the right place, if the next step is the right step to take. So that's just something that's been kind of daunting over me.
Well, and what did you get a degree in? What is your career?
I went to school for concurrent education.
Okay, and what would you like to do as a profession?
So I would love to be a kindergarten teacher or an elementary school teacher. I majored in social studies and a bit of science. Yeah.
So, while we're in these times where schools, some are open, some aren't, right? But while we're in this time, you want to, it's called the as if factor. You want to function as if you are that kindergarten teacher. You are that social studies teacher. Start thinking about, what would you teach your students? How would you guide them? What stories would you tell them? What are important history times that you feel are relevant to kind of prove certain points? Put that course curriculum together. So when you have that interview, when you have that shot, and it could be a Zoom call, right? It could be an in-person, we don't know. You want it to come through the phone, come through online, really tackle that person with all that energy and passion that you have for being a teacher. Because there's going to be a lot of people right now that are going to get a little bit lazy, a little bit complacent. They're not going to stay educated. They're going to kind of soften up a bit. And you want to stay on point. You want to stay educated. You want to put those course plans together. Role play that you're a teacher in front of stuffed animals if you want to. Or, volunteer. See if you can volunteer. Do a lecture online. Contact an organization that serves students and see if you can be a part of what they're doing online. Just stay sharp. And if you do that, these anxieties, they're not going to vanish, but they're going to become smaller and smaller and smaller because what are you doing? You're taking your power back. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Thank you so much for calling in. And, we're just going to send a lot of positive wishes your way today that you will get that job. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
You got it.
Have a good day.
And for
Bye-bye.
everybody listening today, it is all about being positive, and those are not just words. I walk that walk, I talk that talk. I have been there too, the hard times, right? But I personally choose to smile throughout the day. I choose to be a source of inspiration for others, even on those days that are hard for me. And you can too. You just have to make a commitment that you're going to gobble up life. Don't live in the past. Don't be fearful of the future. Embrace and live and love today. Because we only have today, right? But I'm so glad that I had this time with you. The entire Living Full Out team appreciates you listening. We have Rich and Eilish and Kalia and Caleb and so many people that just want to make sure that you walk away from today's show standing taller, smiling bigger, loving bigger. And if you do that, well, you are living full out. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, I believe in you. See you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Living Full Out Show with Nancy Solari. To learn more about this program, visit livingfullout.com for the latest episodes. Connect with the Living Full Out community by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you have an inspirational story you want to share, email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Here's to you, living full out.